Hello everyone, welcome to ITLS Academy, Empower the Youth. Today's lecture is based on carbonation. Let's see the introduction part. What is carbonation? Carbonation is the process of adding carbon dioxide gas to a beverage to give it sparkling and a tangy flavor while also avoiding spoilage. The liquid is chilled and then poured into a pressurized enclosure containing carbon dioxide, either as a dry ice or a liquid. Gas absorption is maximized by increasing pressure and lowering the temperature. Pressurization is not needed for carbonated beverages. Carbonated drinks and waters are created in the 17th century as a result of European attempts to mimic the familiar and naturally effervescent water of famous spring with a focus on their reputed therapeutic properties. So basically in this we are talking about what is carbonation. So carbonation is nothing but it is a process of adding carbon dioxide gas to any beverage. Why we are adding carbon dioxide to a beverage? Just to give a sparkling and a tangy flavor. And while adding carbon dioxide, we are also avoiding spoilage. If you have seen my previous lectures where we have talked about carbon dioxide, so I have discussed the property of carbon dioxide as that carbon dioxide also avoid the spoilage, means they permit the growth of any bacterial microorganism or any kind of microorganism that cause spoilage to the beverage. So in short, if we say carbonation is the chemical reaction of carbon dioxide to give carbonate, bicarbonate or carbonic acid in acid. So basically what it is doing, it is just giving a sparkly or a tangy flavor to any beverage. So in this the liquid should be chilled and it should be poured into a pressurized enclosure where the CO2 is there, and CO2 will be in the dry form or as well as in the as a dry ice form or in the form of a liquid. So in this the gas absorption is maximized. जो गैस का एब्जॉर्प्शन है उसको हम मैक्सिमाइज करते हैं. कैसे करते हैं कि जब हम प्रेशर के कंटेंट को या प्रेशर को हम ज़्यादा कर देते हैं और टेम्परेचर को कम कर देते हैं. मतलब प्रेशर शुड बी इंक्रीज एंड टेम्परेचर शुड बी डिक्रीज. सो एंड दिस इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट दैट फॉर द कार्बोनेटेड बेवरेजेस pressurization is not required. Why? Because already we are adding CO2 and CO2 is already avoiding spoilage, right? So pressurization is not needed for any carbonated beverages. This point is very important. In MCQs you may be asked this question that whether the pressurization is needed for carbonated beverages or not, but sometimes students get confused. They say ki nahi, it is required, but the correct answer is pressurization is not required for carbonated beverages. Then from where the concept of this carbonated beverages and water comes, it came into existence in 17th century where it is a result of a European attempts to mimic the familiar and natural effervescent water of their famous springs with a focus on their reputed therapeutic properties. So this is about the carbonation. Then if you see, this is the US carbonated soft drink market size between in the year 2016-2018. If you see, the cola is gradually increasing in every years as compared to citrus and others, right? So this is the US carbonated soft drink market chart or you can say graph. Now let's see carbonated beverages. What are carbonated beverages? A soft drink can contain up to 94% carbonated water. Carbon dioxide gives the beverage a unique sparkle, a crunch, as well as acting as a mild preservative. Since it is inert, non-toxic, and relatively inexpensive and easy to liquefy, carbon dioxide is an ideal gas for soft drinks. Sugar, which make up 7 to 12% of carbon of soft drink, is the second most important ingredient. Sugar is either dry or liquid forms, adds sweetness and body to the beverages, improving the mouthfeel, an important factor in soft drink customer enjoyment. Sugar also helps to keep the flavor and acid in check. So what is this carbonated beverages say? कि this soft drink में there is a 94% carbonated water. If you check the percentage of carbonated water in any soft drink, so it is 94%. And this carbon dioxide, what it is giving a pop-up sound, or you can say it is giving the sparkling texture to the beverage, as well as it is also acting as a mild preservative in the sense they are avoiding the contamination of any kind of microbial growth. Since this carbon dioxide is inert, non-toxic, it do not have any toxic effect, and it is relatively very inexpensive, it is cost effective, and it is easy to liquefy, carbon dioxide is an ideal gas for the soft drinks. If the question asks what are the features or what are the characteristics of carbon dioxide that makes this as an ideal gas for soft drink industry, so what will be the answer? The answer is it is inert, it is non-toxic, it is relatively inexpensive, and it is easily to liquefy, or it is relatively available throughout the year. And if the second ingredient, if we talk about, it is a sugar which makes 7 to 12% of a soft drink. The first ingredient is carbonated water that makes 94%. The second ingredient is sugar which make 7 to 12% of the soft drink. Since sugar is in the dry form or in the liquid form, doesn't matter, आप sugar को dry form में भी use कर सकते हो और liquid form में भी use कर सकते हो. What is sugar doing? It is just adding a sweetness to the beverage and improving the mouth feel. When you have any soft drink, you feel a slight sugary taste, and the taste is very appealing. That is because of the sugar. So it is an important factor. This mouth feel factor is an important in soft drink customer enjoyment. Sugar also keeps the flavor and acid in check. Now comes how we measure the carbonation measurement. How do we measure this carbonation? Carbonation in soda is measured in volumes. So carbonation in soda, they are measured in volume. A volume is measured of space, and it's how we measure the amount of carbon dioxide that has been dissolved in liquid. In general, one can of soda contain about 1.5 liter or 2 volumes of carbonated water. Carbonation can be measured in 3 ways. First is volume pressure, second or solubility. Volume pressure, the amount of CO2 dissolved in solution as function of pressure at a given temperature. Pressure is used to measure the number of moles N present after taking into account temperature and volume using Charles' law. Solubility calculates the saturation point for water to hold on to all CO2 added into a specific temperature. So how this carbonation is measured? It is measured in volumes, and If I talk about one can of soda, so it contains half a liters, 1.5 liters, or you can say 2 volumes of the carbonated water. So here the carbonation is measured in three forms. First is volume, second is pressure, third is solubility. If I talk about volume, so what volume is doing? This question can also be asked, student, please pay attention that carbonation is measured in three ways. First is volume, second is pressure, and third is solubility. If I talk about volume, so volume measure the amount of CO2 that is dissolved in the solution, and the function is of the pressure at the given temperature. Then comes the pressure. Pressure is used to measure the number of moles. तो वॉल्यूम CO2 को अमाउंट ऑफ CO2 मेजर करता है, प्रेशर हमारे मेजर करता है नंबर ऑफ मोल्स कितने प्रेजेंट हैं, ठीक है, आफ्टर टेकिंग इनटू अकाउंट टेम्परेचर एंड वॉल्यूम. एंड विच लॉ इज यूज? चार्ल्स लॉ स्टेट्स P into V, that is pressure into volume is equals to constant. And the last is solubility, जो हमारा saturation point किसी भी water का measure करता है कि कोई भी water कितनी देर तक की CO2 को मतलब hold रखता है into a specific temperature. So this is basically about the carbonation measurement. So this is the schematic of carbonation setup, how the setup looks like, how we measure the carbon dioxide, or you can say carbonation. Then comes the deaeration. The presence of air in the product causes the product deterioration as well as giving a false reading of a level of CO2 present due to the partial pressure involved. Hence, we should minimize the amount of air present during carbonation. So, what is deaeration? तो deaeration, अगर for example कोई भी product है, ठीक, उस product में अगर आपकी air present है तो obviously air will deteriorate your product. Same with this beverage industries also. If in any product or any beverage is there, if there is an air, so it will cause deterioration of that particular product. As well as वो पे false reading देने लगती है CO2 की कि कितना amount of CO2 is present. क्यों ऐसा करने लगती? Due to the partial pressure that is involved. Hence, we should minimize the amount of air present during carbonation. Question यहाँ पर ये बन सकता है कि why there is a requirement to minimize the amount of air present during carbonation. So, what is the answer? कि the presence of air in the product causes product deterioration as well as giving the false reading of CO2, means the level of CO2 present due to the partial pressure involved. Hence, we should minimize the amount of air during carbonation. Then comes experience has shown that the aim should be reduce the level of air within a product below 0.5 ppm wherever possible. So, what is the criteria or मतलब to how much value should the air reduce? It is 0.5 ppm air. Till this air should be minimized. In this way the product will be at the minimum risk from deterioration. अगर आपका जो product है उसमें जो air की जो मतलब वो है वॉल्यूम है, अगर वो 0.5 ppm है तो इट इज़ पॉसिबल कि आपके पास एक मिनिमम रिस्क है फ्रॉम डिटोरिएशन. क्यों? क्योंकि ड्यू टू द प्रेजेंस ऑफ ऑक्सीजन एंड हेंस वी हैव एन इम्प्रूव्ड शेल्फ लाइफ. जितनी एयर या आप कह सकते हो किसी भी प्रोडक्ट में अगर एयर कम होगी मतलब बिलो 0.5 ppm होगी तो आपका जो प्रोडक्ट होगा उसका शेल्फ लाइफ बहुत ज़्यादा होगा. Whereas at the same time this ensure the minimal filling problems, और फिलिंग करने में भी हमारी कोई प्रॉब्लम हमें नहीं होगी. The presence of air and carbon dioxide gives rise to the phenomena known as fogging. This is again very important. due to nucleation sites being generated by the presence of air within the product. The higher air content, the more difficult it's to hold carbon dioxide in solution. सेकेंड रीज़न ये भी है कि पहला तो प्रोडक्ट डिटोरिएट करता है एयर, सेकेंड ये है कि जो हमारा CO2 का जो हमारी CO2 है किसी भी सॉल्यूशन में, तो अगर एयर प्रेजेंट होगी तो इट इज़ वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट टू होल्ड द अमाउंट ऑफ CO2 इन द सॉल्यूशन. The two methods of the de-aeration exist, vacuum or reflex, both of which are normally applied to water rather than the final product. So the two method of de-aeration is there. First is vacuum or reflex. That is the two thing that are present in for the de-aeration. Then comes the quality control. How you can control the quality of the product. Allowable dissolved solid alkalinity, chlorides, sulfides, iron and aluminiums are strictly controlled by soft drink manufacturers. Clean water not only benefits public health but also aids in the manufacturing process and ensure taste, color and body consistency. Microbiological and other tests are performed on the daily basis. The National Soft Drink Association and other organizations set quality requirement for the sugar and other ingredient. If the soft drinks are made with low quality sugar, the beverage will become spoiled, resulting in flaw. Sugar should be treated carefully in sterile, sanitized condition to avoid spoilage. This is very important, how you maintain the quality of any carbonated beverages. So the dissolved solid, alkalinity or chloride, sulfate, iron and aluminiums are strictly controlled by the soft drink manufacturers. जो भी हमारे soft drink के manufacturers होते हैं वो बहुत ही strictly हमारी इन सारी चीज़ों को कंट्रोल करते हैं. किसको? alkalinity को, chlorides को, sulfate को, iron and aluminium. And it is always prefer to use clean water. Clean water क्या होता है? It is free from any sort of contamination and it also benefits the health, the public health, and it ensures the clean water ensures taste, color and body consistency. Microbiological and other tests are performed on the daily basis to check the quality of water also. Water should be free from any contamination. It is purely sterile water. It should not have any type of contamination or any type of bacterial invasion on this. So the National Soft Drink Association and other organization they have set certain requirement for sugar and other ingredient. सो जो हमारे सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक्स में हमारी शुगर यूज़ हो रही है शुड बी ऑफ हाई क्वालिटी. इट शुड नॉट बी ऑफ एनी लो क्वालिटी. वाई? बिकॉज अगर हम लो क्वालिटी की शुगर यूज़ करेंगे तो इट विल स्पॉइल आर बेवरेजेस एंड विच रिजल्ट इन द फ्लॉक. तो शुगर शुड बी ट्रीटेड इन अ स्टेराइल और सैनिटाइज कंडीशन टू अवॉइड एनी टाइप ऑफ स्पॉइलेज. Since preservative cannot kill all bacteria, soft drink producer must test raw material before mixing them with the other ingredient. This is the most important point बच्चे, कि जो हमारे मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हैं वो चेक करते हैं कि जो भी हमारे रॉ मटेरियल्स यूज़ हो रहे हैं किसी भी कार्बोनेटेड बेवरेजेस को बनाने के लिए, इट शुड बी फ्री फ्रॉम एनी टाइप ऑफ कंटामिनेशन. क्योंकि मैंने अपने पहले ही लेक्चर्स में आपको बताया था कि अगर हमारा रॉ मटेरियल को हम अगर हम लो क्वालिटी रॉ मटेरियल यूज़ कर देंगे तो एंड प्रोडक्ट विल बी ऑल्सो हैव सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ कंटामिनेशन इन इट. तो अगर हम पहले ही स्टेप में अपने अच्छे रॉ मटेरियल्स को यूज़ कर लें, द रॉ मटेरियल शुड बी स्टेराइल, फ्री फ्रॉम एनी टाइप ऑफ कंटामिनेशन, तो जो हमारा एंड प्रोडक्ट होगा वो भी हमारा इट विल बी फ्री फ्रॉम एनी टाइप ऑफ कंटामिनेशन, क्योंकि जो इसमें हम माइल्ड प्रिजर्वेटिव्स यूज़ कर रहे हैं वो सारे बैक्टीरियाज को किल नहीं करता है। तो इसीलिए हमारे रॉ मटेरियल की प्रॉपरली चेकिंग होनी चाहिए कि वो should be free from any type of contamination. Both tanks, pumps and containers are also sterile and check on the regular basis. जिस टैंक में मिक्सिंग होती है, फिलिंग होती है, वो सारी चीज़ें शुड बी फ्री फ्रॉम एनी टाइप ऑफ कंटेमिनेशन, दे शुड बी स्टेराइल। एंड हम जो इंडस्ट्रीज़ के मैन्युफैक्चरर्स होते हैं वो दे कीप्स अ रेगुलर चेक ऑन द रेगुलर बेसिस. Internally, liquid cans made from aluminum alloy or tin coated low carbon steel and the metals avoid corrosion from the contact with the beverages, so they have a very little corrosion. Then comes soft drinks producer also advise retailers on how to store their product to keep them from spoiling. तो जो भी हमारे सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक के प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं, ठीक है, दे आस्क रिटेलर और दे गिव सर्टेन एडवाइस हाउ टू कीप देयर प्रोडक्ट so to avoid the spoilage and also to maintain their shelf life. Soft drinks have a 1 year shelf life in most cases. तो जितनी भी हमारी सॉफ्ट ड्रिंक्स होती हैं उनकी ऑलमोस्ट 1 year की शेल्फ लाइफ होती है. So this is basically all about the thing. Certain questions generally arises as we have discussed कि what is fobbing. Second question should be why we should minimize the amount of air during carbonation. Then the question they can ask you कि how the carbonation is measured. So carbonation is measured into 3 ways. In 3 ways, first is volume, pressure and solubility, right? Then how much 1 can soda contain carbonated water. So basically they contain 2 volume of carbonated water, or you can say half a liter, right? They can also ask about the ingredient, for example about carbon dioxide, why carbon dioxide is ideal gas for the soft drinks, right? So, and this question can be asked in MCQs that whether the pasteurization is needed for carbonated beverages or not. So the answer is simply pasteurization is not needed for any carbonated beverages. So this is basically all about carbonation. Hope you have understood the lecture. Please student, don't forget to subscribe our channel, that is ITLS Academy. You can press the bell icon and get a latest update on the lectures. You can also visit our website www.itlsacademy.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp and LinkedIn. You can also if you have any query, you can also call on the helpline number, that is 7080833450. Hope you have understood. Thank you.